strikes and that they were launched from inside Iran.
Fox's Simon Owen. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler is threatening to hold a former Trump campaign manager in contempt for refusing to answer questions.
Mr. Lewandowski, your behavior in this hearing room has been completely unacceptable.
Corey Lewandowski says about the hearings and the idea of impeaching President Trump.
This is something that is a soundbite.
He was on Fox and Friends. America's listening to Fox News.
Your Grayson County Cougars are 4-0 to start the 2019 season. This week, the Cougars make the trip north for the district opener against the 3-1 Breckenridge County Fighting Tigers. Last season, the Cougars stomped the Tigers in Litchfield by a score of 37-0. I'm Sam Gormley. Join me Friday night for all of the action live from Harnett. Coverage begins with the Locker Room Show at 6:30. Watch online at K105.com, on Facebook, watch and listen here on K105.
Our family caring for yours. Those 5 words speak volumes about what you can expect at Twin Lakes Regional Medical Center. Compare your hometown hospital to virtually any across the state, and you will find we offer world-class technologies and comprehensive healthcare solutions far exceeding your expectations. But equally important to what we can do is how we do it. The hometown touch, the personal care. Set us apart and leave you on the road to recovery and restoration with a new sense of trust and confidence. Twin Lakes Regional Medical Center.
At Litchfield Pediatrics, we don't just love our community, we love yours too. Serving surrounding counties from Warren to Hardin, our growing network of physicians and professionally trained staff provide the best in pediatric care. Now offering new online appointment requests, available 24/7 and can be accessed by visiting our Facebook page. Give us a call at 270-259-5641 or stop by our new facility located at 901 Wallace Avenue. Litchfield Pediatrics, providing the best in pediatric care.
Good morning. This is Kurt Scott, minister at Caneyville Christian Church. Join us this week for Sunday School at 10, followed by worship services at 11 and 6. And now, a Minute of Vision with Dr. Roger Patterson.
A mature man of faith. This is Roger Patterson with a Minute of Vision for Life. Christmas stories, plays, and sermons have us thinking about the star, stable, and shepherds. We hear about Mary, the wise men, and the baby Jesus, and the message that there was no room for them in the inn. Rarely do we hear a message about Joseph, though. But Joseph is vital to the story. You see, Joseph is a picture of a man of mature faith, and a mature man of faith has developed his character so that he gives thought to his ways. Look at what the scripture declares about Joseph when he found out that Mary was with child. It says in Matthew 1:19, Joseph, her fiancé, was a good man and did not want to disgrace her. Do you see the character of Joseph on display? He was just, not willing to shame, and he gave thought to his ways. We would be wise to develop our character so that when someone disappoints us, we respond in the same manner.
Roger's Daily Devotional, A Minute of Vision for Men, is available to start the new year. visionforlife.org.
Fox Sports Trending now.
News from the NFL, where the New York Giants are benching two-time Super Bowl winning quarterback Eli Manning and replacing him with rookie Daniel Jones. He'll make his first professional start on Sunday in Tampa Bay against the Buccaneers. New York Jets quarterback Trevor Siemian's out for the year with an ankle injury. Luke Falk will make his first NFL start Sunday on the road against the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. In baseball games of note, the Cardinals lose to the Nationals 6-2, with the Cubs falling to the Reds 4-2, while the Brewers beat the Padres 3-1. St. Louis is still on top of the NL Central. They've got a 2-game lead on both the Cubs and the Brewers right now. Chicago and Milwaukee are tied for the second wildcard spot in the NL. A's over the Royals 2-1. Rays fall to the Dodgers 7-5. And the Indians top the Tigers 7-2. Oakland's lead on Tampa Bay for the number one wildcard spot in the American League is at 2 games. Cleveland moves a half game back of Tampa Bay for the second wildcard spot in the American League. I'm Eddie Garcia.
We are Fox Sports.
K105 weather is brought to you by the 3 Grayson County locations of the Sicilian Bank.
Not too bad of a start of the day. Temperature is actually just a bit cooler than yesterday so far. We've got plenty of sunshine. We'll have a few clouds, though, rolling in later today. Still a chance for the city to hit between 90 and 92 this afternoon. It won't be a record, but again, another hot and dry day. Tonight, we drop down to around 70 for a low. Then tomorrow, right around the lower 90s, and a chance for a few clouds in the afternoon. The Wade 3D Storm Tracking Team. I'm meteorologist Brian Good.
beautiful new day. Hey, running down the avenue, see how the sun shines brightly in the city, on the streets where once was Betty. Mr. Blue Sky is living here today. Hey, Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong? Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong?
This is In the Know for Wednesday, September 18, the 261st day of 2019. There are 104 days left in the year. Good morning, MB, guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station, 103.9 The Moose, live online at K105.com, on Facebook Watch, on YouTube, on Periscope, live online at K105.com, the Apple and Android smartphone app, the SoundCloud or iTunes podcast, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. We will say good morning and welcome in Dr. Anthony Smith from Litchfield Pediatric Clinic. We act like children, so we get a pediatrician to come by and help us. And we'll have your chance to win our final tickets to Bourbon and Beyond. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good.
You like building vocabulary, right?
Oh, yeah.
You like broad vocabulary. You like adding new words. Here's what you don't have if you're working in an office or you own a business. You don't want a staff full of eye servants. You know what eye servants are?
I do not.
Eye servants are people who only do work when people are looking.
Oh.
Right? When people are not looking, they're over there twiddling their thumbs or they're wasting time. But eye servants, when they notice somebody's watching, boy, they're hard at it. You know anybody like that?
I may have seen it. One or two.
You may have seen one or two. Got it. As so long as you aren't one, it's okay. She's the pride of Pumpkin Center, the heiress to the great mini burger fortune. She's Vera Wang's arch nemesis and the professional bargain hunter's woman of the year. She's Misty Embry Thomas. Hey. How's Misty?
I'm very well. How are you?
You're very well.
Very well.
Any particular reason for the very?
I got in my jeans today. What?
That helps.
These babies have buttons on them. Like no leggings for Misty today.
No shoehorn required or anything.
Well, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
But they
You
did
got
get
in
buttoned.
All
Well,
right.
and I've already called dibs on them.
She said, "Are you done with those jeans?" I said, "Girl, I just got them on. These are my fat jeans, and I just got them on."
Okay, so begs the question. They're on. Will they come off?
I think I may or may not. They are button fly. I may
To
or may
be
not already
determined.
popped a button.
to be, yeah, you're springing them like rivets. Like
Some of the buttons are buttoned,
ting, they're
right?
bouncing off the walls here. You know about the increasingly popular phenomena of intermittent fasting.
Yes, that's how I've lost my weight.
It is?
Yes, that's how I've. Yeah, look. I'm skinnier.
Yes, your cheeks are sunken in. If you want to
Don't I
improve
look
your
good?
outlook on life, also, you should give up Facebook for 7 days. Researchers found that people who stayed off Facebook for a week had higher life satisfaction, better concentration than those who continued their Facebook habits.
Yeah, I can see that.
Now, I've not given it up for a week, but I've certainly scaled way back. I just can't.
Yeah.
As the kids would say, I can't even deal. Just too much.
Shaking my head.
And it's funny how quickly I am now on the unfollow. I don't see you. I don't need to see you. But for long, I'll have it like I like it.
Oh, and you're the worst. So bye bye. Bye for the
Yeah,
show.
oh yeah, like after the football game the other night, I was like,
Yeah. Done with you.
and
Yep. And you out of the sandbox. Coach.
that's right. Yeah, I just don't want to have to. Don't want to have to see your nonsense.
Cat, stray cat.
That was so I mentioned the Sunday school lesson a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of days ago. It was about the Israelites complaining in the desert, right?
That's funny because that was my lesson yesterday.
It was?
Yeah.
So they took to complaining about Moses and Aaron when really what they were doing is complaining about God.
Yeah.
And so I wondered, I thought, you know, what where did we lodge all of our complaints before Facebook? Like, how did we manage to survive the world?
Well, and you know
before Facebook,
you know
where
what
we could just complain all the time.
God did with the complainers. He dropped in fiery serpents. I'm just saying the snakes are coming for you.
But then he also threw a bunch of quail at them.
Yeah. Well,
And they had quail biscuits for breakfast. Actually, they were more like quail croissants.
I'm just saying,
if you want to know the truth
when we
of the matter.
kick you out of our sandbox, it is biblical.
That's right.
The complainers they died.
We're just following orders. That's what it is. Partly sunny today, hot and dry, 93, mostly clear, 69 tonight. Partly sunny and hot and dry on Thursday, 93. But we may see the remnants of Tropical Depression Imelda coming into the area on Friday. Could see some late weekend rain chances and then highs in the 80s behind that front coming up on Monday. So may feel a little bit more like fall.
Wait, what's her name?
Imelda.
Imelda? Like formaldehyde?
This is Imelda. So Imelda. That thing spun up in a hurry too, by the way. It just kind of came out of nowhere. It got defined as a depression, came ashore, and it was kind of a weird type of deal. It remains dry, and I'm seeing some headlines now where in eastern Kentucky, you're seeing some counties who are implementing a burn ban. Mm-hmm. Laurel, Floyd, Johnson, Knox, Lee, Lincoln, Magoffin, Pike, and Whitley counties all have burn bans going on now because of the approaching drought conditions, as close as Barron County, also restricting burning. No idea about what's happening closer to home yet, but you're seeing it kind of creep this way, and it probably, if you don't have to burn something, probably would be better to avoid it. I mean, a lot can go wrong. Just look at what happened to the Tennessee Titans fireworks display on Sunday. You all see any of that?
Well, so I'm just going to ask, what's on fire, and is that normal? Because I saw a photo
no, it's not
with
normal.
no description.
No,
I
it's
didn't
not,
think so, but
not normal. I'd say there was a meeting on Monday. I think there was chances are there was a meeting on Monday.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I also want to take a minute to say I'm a day behind, so there won't be any spoilers.
Oh, well, I'm $1 short.
Not looking for any spoilers. But I did get to see last night episode 2 of Ken Burns' documentary on country music.
Okay.
And it goes back to the history and the origins of country music, and Kentucky plays a very central role, especially because of Bill Monroe, but even before Bill Monroe, I mean, and not just Kentucky, but just down the road in Rosine, plays a big portion of the origin story about how the evolution of country music has taken place, but other artists that happened through this area, how it came to be, and more specifically, it also talks about the importance of broadcasting to helping develop the popularity of country music over the years and help shape it and mold it. And XERA, which used to be down just across the border in Mexico, is 500,000 watts, but it covered, all over, it covered into Canada, and the Carter family was down there, and that's how they got popular, and how Roy Rogers got to be. And so it just, anyway, it's everything Ken Burns does is very well done. And even for somebody like me, who's just not all that crazy about country music, especially current country music, but the history of it is fascinating to me because it has to do with the lives of people, of our ancestors,
sure,
and how it helped them through the Depression and So anyway, I found it very interesting, and it's available on KET's website if you want to see it.
Loretta lent to you.
Absolutely. See,
did she make it into last night's episode?
No, we're not there yet. No, we're still in the 30s. We're just after World War II now.
Oh, okay.
So
Where
this
are you
is
watching this?
KET.
Oh, you said that. Okay.
Yeah, it's on KET, and you can, if you go to KET.org, I think they've got it archived there, or you'll see how you can find it. A lawsuit is alleging the Republican nominee for Kentucky Attorney General has not been a practicing attorney long enough to serve. The suit, filed in Jefferson County Circuit Court by Joseph Jackson of Louisville, asks that Republican Daniel Cameron's name be removed from the ballot. The complaint says the state constitution requires 8 years as a practicing attorney. Cameron is running against Democrat Greg Stumbo. The lawsuit says Cameron spent 2 years as a clerk for a federal judge and couldn't practice while serving. He was admitted to the bar, though, in 2011. In a statement, Cameron referenced a 1995 court decision in favor of Democratic Attorney General candidate Ben Chandler that said it was sufficient that he had been admitted to the bar 9 years earlier. Cameron said Jackson's lawsuit was orchestrated by Greg Stumbo. You don't say.
What?
this could potentially have something to do with his opponent? No way.
The best part of the story for me was this morning as I am broadcasting news, I kept saying Greg Gumbo.
Greg Gumbo.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, that's not right. Yeah, stop it. I really feel like when Cameron decided to file his papers, all of that was looked into.
I mean, you would hope, right? You would hope that they had done the math on that and said, okay, it'll be fine.
You're good.
I think it shows you they have him worried. I mean, he has them worried about who's going to win the race. Plus, he has the McConnell machine behind him, which pretty good record.
I didn't realize he was from Hardin County. I
Yeah,
got
went to
walk
John Hardin
with
High School.
him in the parade. Him and his mother and his niece, his girlfriend, had some great conversation. Procured some cheese for them from Bell Cheese, which scored some points too.
Sure. Well, if you ever end up, in the Attorney General's office, maybe
That's kind of what I'm like. But I was the cheese
You can
girl.
settle the cheese score.
I was the cheese
I helped
girl.
procure the cheese for you.
Actually, though, I say that to say I was very impressed with him.
Well, you all may not remember this because your memories are kind of like Dory sometimes. But
What?
exactly. The times that I have been to Washington, D.C. on the KBA delegation trip and the times I've been in Leader McConnell's office, I have always come home talking about Daniel Cameron.
You have.
Like how impressed I am with him and the hospitality and ta-ta-ta-ta. So anyway, I have long thought that he was a rising star among the Republican Party. So I think he'll stay in the race, but, political tactics. They happen, right? People, hey, you can't do that. Reinserting immigration into his reelection campaign, Governor Matt Bevin has embraced an issue Donald Trump rode to the presidency, while acknowledging that illegal immigration isn't a huge issue for a state that lies far from the nation's borders. He has a new TV ad out this week that promotes cracking down on illegal immigration and prohibiting the creation of sanctuary cities. He followed up with another commercial touting his anti-abortion credentials, another hot button issue that has become a mainstay of his campaign. Goes on to say, he's talking about with various groups around the state, is that even though Kentucky is far from the border, that it comes up a lot in conversation about securing the border. And of course, he's right. President Trump through build the wall, build the wall, build the wall. And it's been an ongoing theme. But listen, you would be foolish to think that a porous border does not impact us here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. If you look at the way that the drug cartels operate and use our interstate systems and use our young people to mule and to traffic and to, if you close the border, you do get a different picture in Kentucky than what you have right now, at least in my opinion.
Absolutely. And if you go back and look at the human trafficking case that went down in Nashville, if you think they're not coming into Kentucky through Nashville,
right?
I mean, there's proof that that ring of human traffickers was taken down, and they were illegal immigrants.
One of the things that makes me chuckle about Governor Bevin's his ongoing message and commercial is that he says it shows him in his military uniform, shows his service. Shows this. I like it when they say the phrase this phrase, ruffled a few feathers. It's ruffled a few feathers, and it makes me laugh because I'm thinking, well, if you're wearing the feathers, they were probably a little more than ruffled.
I was going to go more like plucked out.
If you're not wearing the feathers,
right?
Then you would go, yeah, ruffled them. But if they're like, you're like a porcupine, right? And they're stuck in you, they felt like, ooh, that was more than a ruffle.
I think when I think of ruffle feathers, I'm thinking like grabbing somebody and giving them a noogie on the head.
Yeah.
Like, this is not necessarily what happened. It was more like a pure plucking.
Governor Bevin has also put Kentucky in the Trump Coal Coalition, which is a group of 20 states trying to intervene and repeal President Obama's Clean Power Plan. So we'll see if that has any traction. Attorney General Andy Beshear and gubernatorial candidate Andy Beshear has announced that his office is moving forward with a lawsuit against 3 insulin makers over skyrocketing prices and an investigation into pharmacy benefit managers who have allegedly overcharged Kentuckians, local pharmacies, and the state for prescription drugs. 2 RFPs, requests for proposals, are now posted on the system where state government solicitations are placed online. Bidders can compete to assist the Office of the Attorney General's legal efforts on the 2 matters. A lawsuit that he filed in May against Eli Lilly, Sanofi Aventis, and Novo Nordisk alleges that since 2008, the 3 defendants who control 96% of the world's insulin market have increased the price of their analog insulin products at least 10 times, while the cost to make insulin have stayed low, usually less than $7 per vial. So obviously, if you are in the market, if you're a user of insulin, you know much more about that than I do, but sounds like a lot. Sounds like could be impactful in ways. The National Park Service has named a new superintendent at Abraham Lincoln Birthplace National Historic Park up the road in Hodgenville. Catherine Bragaw, how did you say it? Bragaw will start in the position on November 10. The Park Service Southeast Regional Director Bob Vogel says his friends call him Bob. Yeah. He's actually Robert. Said in a statement that Bragaw's passion for political science, public history, and civic engagement will help her manage how the park interprets the early years of the nation's 16th president. Will she be the one that finally admits out loud that cabin they got in there is not the one? It's just like the one. Will she be a truth teller? Or is she going to try to keep the myth alive? Like, here's the cabin. No, that's not the cabin.
When
just looks like the cabin.
But when you're hired to promote Bigfoot, you don't tell the Bigfoot's not real.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Am I wrong or am I right?
I'm saying I could just buy into her tenure more as the superintendent up there if she just say, look, we've just for a long time kind of allowed you to believe.
Can you imagine
that if you go in there in the bedroom, it says Abe slept here, and it really doesn't.
Yeah,
it's just a cabin that looks like he could have slept there.
Can you imagine all the little kids, second graders, come in. This is not Abraham Lincoln's birthplace. And you're welcome. Goodbye.
Listen, I could have gone on to become a president of the United States, but it doesn't mean they wouldn't have burned down the house I grew up in before I got there.
Imagine taking the house in Caneyville and going, this is where Mark Buckles was born.
Right. No, they're not going to do that.
No, technically he was born in a hospital.
That's true.
I think, right?
That's true.
Were you born?
No, I was not.
No.
The stork delivered me. It was
I've
as
never
simple as
asked your
that.
origin. Cabbage Patch Kid?
That's my origin story. Stork delivered me. Apple. By the way, Kentuckians now may have be motivated to buy more Apple products, at least the iPhones. Apple announced yesterday that it's deepening its ties with a Kentucky manufacturing plant by awarding $250 million to support continued work to develop glass for iPhones and other devices. The award builds on the $200 million that Corning received from Apple's Advanced Manufacturing Fund in 2017. I didn't know I see a lot of people say, I got a cracked iPhone screen. What do I do? Well, you just go to Corning here in Kentucky. I think they throw scraps out back.
Sure.
If you go out behind the building in the dumpster, there's probably iPhone screens.
What's wrong with your face?
31-year-old Aaron Thomas and 35-year-old Megan Mondanaro were pedaling south with no lights on their bikes when they were nearly run over by a car that didn't see them. When officers pulled over the pair, he reportedly smelled booze on both of their breath. Noting their slurred speech and bloodshot eyes, he told them they would be doing a field sobriety test. They declined, so he put them both in the back of his police cruiser. And within a few minutes, he noticed they commenced a wrestling.
I have so many questions.
Right? If they're going to be separated. Right? I'm just saying.
Why were you bicycling to begin with?
Well, it was a nice romantic stroll. Drunk on a bike.
I have a lot of questions as well. I'm just saying.
I'm going to go with. No, I'm not.
You're not going to go?
No, I'm not. No. Stop.
Right.
Let's just say sober, people.
Just leave it there.
Let's just say sober.
Do what you like with the information. But, yeah, as I said, so they were not deterred in the least, it sounds like. We're going to get to a break. We'll come back. Dr. Anthony Smith from the Litchfield Pediatric Clinic is waiting to join us. We're going to talk about the pediatric clinic, flu season on the horizon, what you should know, what to do about it, all that information coming up here on In the Know.
This Saturday, Coach Stoops and the Cats are on the road to battle an SEC West foe. Mississippi State Bulldogs and your Kentucky Wildcats.
Touchdown, Kentucky!
The Cats on K105 are brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials. Tune in for Countdown to Kickoff 1 p.m. Saturday on K105.
Some people just have a knack for being there when you need them the most. Like your third grade classmate who sticks up for you against that bully. The neighbor who gives you a jump start. And the friend who chases away that flock of geese at your outdoor wedding. Your State Farm agent has your back too, through good times and the not so good. And who's got your agent's back? State Farm, the company people have trusted for more than 90 years. We're here to help life go right.
See State Farm agents Carter Harrell and Dale Woosley in Litchfield today.
Hey, is that a pumpkin spice latte?
Maybe.
Someone is clearly excited for fall.
Hey, don't judge. Besides, who doesn't love fall? The hay rides, the cute fuzzy boots, the $120 you can save on any smartphone at Bluegrass Cellular.
$120 off? That's a deal I can cozy up to.
I know. It's the perfect time to save on any smartphone, even the latest and greatest models. It's the best way to kick off the fall season.
The fall season hasn't begun yet, dear.
Ha! Well played. It doesn't change the fact that I've been waiting for this all year.
The smartphone deals or the pumpkin spice latte?
Both, honey. Both.
Restrictions apply. Offer available online or in store.
Bluegrass Cellular. Your community. Expanded.
KU presents the top 3 reasons to drive electric. Number 1, awesome range. Today's electric vehicles average 200 miles per charge. Number 2, a better bargain. EVs are about $1,000 less to operate annually. That's like paying 85 cents a gallon to fill up. And number 3, convenience. If you plug in every night at home, you'll wake to a full charge every morning. Plug into even more reasons to make the switch at lge-ku.com/EV.
A routine is a good thing to have. And sometimes, a routine is a good thing to break. Take a break. Start your morning at McDonald's. Mix and match a sausage McMuffin with egg or bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit for just $4 until 11 a.m. Because if you don't deserve a morning that's a little easier and a lot tastier, who does? Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meals. Single item at regular price. Tax extra.
Uber is once again trying to improve its safety features. RideCheck, using GPS and sensors in your phone, follows you once you get into your Uber ride. When there's a long stop that keeps you in the same location, or it appears like you've been in a car crash, the Uber app will check on you and the driver. If you indicate you need help, Uber's safety toolkit comes up along with emergency numbers. In some cases, a safety team member might call to check on you. If you say you're okay, the trip continues. Google is changing how it handles videos and search results, and instead of just listing relevant videos, it will also highlight the most relevant parts of longer videos based on timestamps provided by the video creators. This could be especially useful for how-to videos or documentaries. Yoda can put your kids or you to sleep. Disney is bringing back its bedtime hotline, which allows you to hear goodnight messages from classic Disney characters like Mickey and Minnie, and also characters from the Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar universes. Parents can reach the toll-free hotline at 877-7-MICKEY. Tech Report.
Today is Cheeseburger Day. So, Parrot Heads, Jimmy Buffett fans, super happy about that today, or really just anybody who likes cheeseburgers. It's also Rice Krispie Treat today. Yeah, sounds good. You can celebrate accordingly. Have a cheeseburger for lunch, have a Rice Krispie for dessert. You'll be in good shape. Dr. Anthony Smith is from the Litchfield Pediatric Clinic and a proud partner of our show on In the Know, and happy to have him in. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Nice to be here.
I hear that you try to fashion your bedside manner as a pediatrician, much like Jon Favreau in the movie Elf.
You could say that.
Yeah. I hope it's more like that than Jon Favreau's character in Four Christmases.
Maybe a good blend. How about that?
All right, I'll take a blend of the two. That would be
depends on the patient.
That'd be absolutely.
You get what you give.
Sure.
I don't know if you heard me say that the hosts of the show act like children most of the time, so it's always good to have a pediatrician on standby.
That's right.
That's why you're here to check us out. You all have had a very dynamic 24 months, 2.5 years with the pediatric clinic. First and foremost, your new digs, that beautiful new facility on Wallace Avenue. Are you settling in nice?
Yeah, we are stoked. It's been a huge improvement for us. We were really outgrowing our facility. We've expanded. We're up to 8 providers now, and so there was no space. Those are guys that had been in our old office. It was cramped. It was tight. It had just outgrown it, from what Dr. Lee started so many years ago. I mean, he opened in 1976. It's really grown to a really large office, and we just had to have the space. And so it's been great for us. I think the patients have really enjoyed it. It's made us a lot more efficient, a lot more timely. We're able to offer a lot more services to our patients. We have on-site x-ray, which kind of helps the efficiency of things where you don't have to go to the hospital for as many things, which is great for the patient. So we've been really excited about it.
You mentioned Dr. Lee. I think he recently hit a milestone. I was noticing a celebration. Of course, it's as long as he's served the community, there's always some accolade that he definitely deserves and should be pointed out. When you get a chance to talk with him, what are his thoughts on the growth since 1976 to where it began to where it is today? He has to be proud.
Yeah, I really think he is. The accolade you're talking about, he just a couple weeks ago at the Kentucky State American Pediatrics meeting, he was awarded the Don Cantley Service Award. That's given once per year to a pediatrician in the state of Kentucky as a recognition for their lifelong service to children and children's health. And Dr. Lee, people that don't really know the true asset he is to our community, I mean, what he has done for the children in this community, even for adult health in this community, and what he's pioneered. Being a pediatrician in a rural community was not standard in 1976. That was actually a novel idea and a very pioneering move. Traditionally, in that time, it was an urban thing. It was something that the city had. You were more of a specialist, and so rural communities had family practice doctors, and so it was a really novel idea for Dr. Lee to come out here and I think he's been really pleased that things have grown and that his practice now is really definitively stable, that we have so many providers and that we're not going anywhere, that we're here and we're dedicated to the community, and a lot of us are from Grayson County, and so this is home for us, and so we plan on sticking around. I think that really makes him happy.
8 providers is a very impressive number, and one of the messages that I've noticed that the clinic has been conveying is that even though it's the Litchfield Pediatric Clinic, your base, your reach is not only to every border of Grayson County, but you have patients and are certainly interested in building new patient relationships with the children in neighboring communities too, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We have a decent amount of patients from pretty much every county that touches us, because several of our counties that touch us don't have pediatricians. And some of them only have maybe 1 or 2 physicians and then a couple of nurse practitioners, and that's all they have to offer. And so we pull a lot from Breckinridge County, Ohio County, Butler, all of those that touch us. We even have kids that come from LaRue County and the Glasgow area, and I'll always ask them. I have some families that drive from Smiths Grove, and I'm like, I like seeing you guys, and you guys are really nice, but you all do know you're driving past several respectable pediatric offices along the way, and they're like, we don't care, we want to come. And I'm like, hey, I'm all about it. I'd love that you guys come. But so yeah, we do have a big pool, and we hope down the road that we can expand. We would love to have a presence in some of these counties around us that don't have good access, to try to bring good quality care to those kids as well.
I was cutting up with you before the show a little bit about admitting that I drink too much coffee, and I said that I was too old. You couldn't treat me because you only know about kids' medicine. But something I had been thinking about this morning in preparation for your visit is you see also, obviously seeing pediatric patients, but you have firsthand access to a lot of new parents, like new moms and dads, that this might be their first go around and they're, like, I don't know what to do. This is all sort of new to me, or conflicting information. My mom says this, WebMD says that. What do I do? It's not just the children that you're treating, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can speak, look, I got 2 kids, and everybody thinks, oh, you're a pediatrician, it's a walk in the park. But, I spent 3 years at Cozares. I can pick up pretty much any illness you think of and ID, hey, that kid's sick. I might not know exactly what it is if it's something rare, but I know they're sick. They don't spend a lot of time talking to you about the nuts and bolts of dealing with a screaming 3-year-old at 2 a.m, okay? So I've got 2 kids myself. I go through the same trials and tribulations. I've learned from my wife. She's worked hard. She's a hardworking, very intelligent woman, and she gets online and she reads books, and she's like, well, this says this. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's great to know. And I've learned from having my own kids that, we're all in that struggle together, and it's hard. It's not easy to raise kids. And what you alluded to now is there's so many different resources. It's not like it was 30 years ago where you have your parents, your family, your couple of friends, and that's it, right? Now it's like you pull up your iPhone, you pull up your iPad, and suddenly you've got 90 different resources, and what do you trust?
Yeah.
And so yes, we definitely try to help those new parents and even established parents that have never had a teenager before, and suddenly their child's a teenager, and it's a whole new creature in their house. And what do we do how do we handle this? I don't understand what they're doing. This isn't my child. And so we definitely handle that as well.
You talked about misinformation, the voluminous amounts of portals that you can turn to, and you can pretty much find data to substantiate about any argument that you want to online, unfortunately. So it comes down to credibility. But it also brings me to something that you all must be dealing with all the time. Are parents asking you about vax or anti-vax? Do you have strong thoughts, or would you share your stance on the importance of vaccination at this point?
Yeah, and that is actually an extremely touchy topic.
Yeah.
So I'm extremely pro-vaccine. And I tell people when we had this conversation that everything I do in my job is based on scientific evidence. It's based on people at the CDC, at the National Institute of Health, and even large children's hospitals, because our children's and the bigger ones like Cincinnati and Boston with Harvard, they do research. They study this. They look at 100,000 kids, 50,000 kids, and they compare this versus that. So the same research that tells me a vaccine is both effective and safe tells me that I should treat your kid's strep throat with amoxicillin. It's all the same foundational research. It's just what they're researching. The big concern, and we've actually changed our policy in our office recently, that we now, in line with most of the area pediatricians, we require vaccines, at least the school mandated vaccines. We came to that decision after months of discussion. We spoke with the pediatric infectious disease specialist in Louisville. Dr. Gary Marshall actually has authored several books on vaccines and is an expert on vaccines. And it was not an easy decision to come to, because there's definitely some families that if you work on them and you earn their trust, that over time you will pull them to get vaccines. Our concern was those of you guys didn't know, we had an active measles case in Butler County recently. And children can't get a measles shot till they're 1. And most studies show, I actually read an article last night from one of the U of L infectious disease doctors, Dr. Chris Bryant, quoted that if an active measles case comes into a room, 9 out of 10 people in that room that are not immune to measles will get the measles. It's an airborne illness. It's not a contact illness. And so if you're not immune, you have a 90% chance of contracting it. So babies can get permanent brain damage from measles. They can get severe pneumonia and death from measles, and not to mention the myriad other illnesses. And so we decided that to protect those patients that have no choice, our infants, we have leukemia patients and other cancer patients on chemotherapy. We have several critically ill patients with very complicated congenital heart conditions that either have not been able to get vaccinated yet because of their surgeries and medications, or they are vaccinated, but maybe, you just always worry, did their immune system not respond because of their medications? We chose that in order to protect them, we wanted to have a vaccine policy for those that were choosing otherwise. So we aren't banning them, but if you have a year to get your vaccines started catching up, and if you don't, then at that point we can't see you anymore, so that we can try to protect those that don't have a choice.
It was about 90 days ago that I saw a piece on 60 Minutes or CBS Sunday Morning or something. You may again, it's, who do you believe, right? You see a media report, you hope that it's true. But I didn't know before that day that allegedly the researcher, the man who wrote the JAMA article originally that linked vaccinations to autism, was that evidence was later completely refuted, and he was stripped of his credentials at some point. Is that true?
Yes. Dr. Andrew Wakefield did that in the 90s. That's a 3-day conversation on the various atrocities he committed. He accepted money when you're not supposed to. There's been some reports that he may have had a vested interest in a new measles vaccine, so he may have had a reason to discredit the current measles vaccine. But it's one of the only articles. So that was published in the United Kingdom in The Lancet, and The Lancet is Great Britain's version of our New England Journal of Medicine. It's the medical journal of Great Britain. It's been active since the 1800s, and it's one of the only articles to ever be retracted out of the Lancet, because after it was published in Great Britain in the 90s, the entire country stopped vaccinating for measles. They were terrified, and they had a massive measles outbreak, and the ramifications of which are still being felt even today.
But it shows you the power of our educated population. We trust you, and we trust what you're saying to us. And when you breach that trust, you cause a public health crisis.
Absolutely, and it ripples out, and that snowball
terrifying.
Effect.
It's terrifying.
It has bred and it really has. I honestly believe that single incident is one of the biggest incidents that has bred this kind of a society of distrust in healthcare about vaccines.
Sure.
After that, it's really sparked a lot of people questioning: can I even trust my pediatrician? Can I trust Dr. Smith? Can I trust Dr. Lee? And it's made it difficult for us, but we put up the fight every day.
So flu season. I don't know. Is it like hurricane season? Does it have an official start date and end date? But I know it's on the horizon.
It's here.
Yeah, it is here.
I wasn't sure. I've heard, they always, I've heard there's flu around. I've not seen anybody that I think had the flu. But actually, I saw a mom yesterday, or a foster mom had a foster child with her, and she told me that one of her biologic children's daycare worker just passed away 2 days ago or 3 days ago from the flu.
Oh, wow.
She was 59. I'm assuming it was in Hart County. The mom lives in Upton. So I'm assuming it was in the Hart County or Hardin County region. Wow. She said that she had to go get her child from daycare because they were cutting their hours because they just had a member pass away from the flu at 59.
Wow.
So it's evidently with us. There was a 4-year-old that passed away in California a week or so ago from the flu.
Flu vaccines constantly changing and being altered to stay ahead of certain strains, right?
Right.
How are we doing? Like, are we being effective in our fight against influenza?
Every year's different. And that's the really horrible part about the flu. And that's where the flu shot, I think, is the most misunderstood shot that we give. If you look at the actual scientific literature of all the shots we give, it has the lowest amount of side effects as far as shot-related fever, swelling, redness, febrile seizure, whatever you want to think about that, even the most unlikely and rare complications, it's the least likely to do anything. The problem is the flu virus mutates all the time. And I always tell people there's hundreds to even thousands of strains, but they can only put 4 of them in the shot. If they gave you all of them, it'd be like a gallon of liquid every year, right? They can't do that.
Yeah.
So some years it's what we call a good flu season in the healthcare world, and that means that on average the CDC I think it's the CDC and various entities that go together on this, they cover about 80 to 85% of the circulating strains of flu. So you got a 4 out of 5 chance that it's going to help you prevent the flu that you're going to come into contact with. Bad years, 15%. My second year of residency at Cozares was that year. It was an absolutely horrible year. The predominant strain of flu mutated. They kind of isolated that in early November, and it was bad, and it wreaked havoc, and we had a lot of really, really bad outcomes in the hospital because of it. So
if I need to be proactive, what's the best way I can get some information, reach out, touch the clinic, get ahead of various things, vaccinations, flu vaccines, general health? What's the best way to reach LPC?
Well, the biggest thing is a yearly well check, and that's what I think a lot of people get maybe a little mistaken on. I was that family. And no offense to my parents. I've got wonderful parents, but I grew up in that mentality. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? If you're fine, why do you need to go to the doctor?
I didn't see
right?
Dr. Buckles unless I was sick.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And even then, I might not have seen the doctor. They were like, "You're fine. Rub some dirt in it. You'll be all right."
Kerosene.
Yes, exactly.
At
Right.
our house.
And so that's how I grew up. But the tide has changed, and that's how we deal with. A lot of our families had that mentality. Well, they're fine. Why don't you come in? But those yearly well checks are a good way for us to see you, make sure your child's growing and developing appropriately, make sure your adolescent's not developing some of the typical adolescent problems like anxiety and body image issues, but also to educate you, like you said, to stay ahead of the curve, to see what's coming down the pipe, and to give you that time to ask us questions. Because, I always tell people, I'm just a doctor. This is just what I do for a living. I went to school to do this. The plumber goes to school to be a plumber. The electrician is an electrician. My mom's a speech therapist. She went to school to be a speech therapist.
We went to talk school.
You all went to talk school, right?
Or we talked at school.
That's right.
Like that.
Something. You got your training.
We got our training.
So, that's what we're here for. That's our job. We're here to if I don't know it, it's my job. I had a mom 2 days ago. Her child had a couple things I had no clue about. I'm like, ma'am, you know more about this than I do, but I'm gonna read a lot, and I'm gonna make some phone calls in the next couple of days, and I'll figure it out. And that's what we're here for. And so doing those yearly wellness exams is great, but we're always willing to just schedule a patient just to talk about that stuff. If you want a flu shot but you're worried, come talk to us. We'll talk you through it, and we'll bring up whatever you need to bring up.
And how do we do that? Want to reach you by phone? I noticed I was on your website this morning, litchfieldpediatricclinic.com, I think. There and
you can. There's an appointment request online, but the easiest and quickest is the phone, 270-259-5641. We've got a Facebook page. We've got our website, and any of those are good ways to get in touch with us. And like I said, now that we're up to 8 providers, there's many in the community can remember the times when poor Dr. Lee was trying to do it by himself, and he's the only guy for 5, 6, 7, 8,000 kids, and you just by sheer volume you couldn't get in for a while. It was a long wait because he was all alone, and we're not like that anymore. We have 8 of us now, so we can get you in, and even if it's something you think's innocuous, it may not be. And I've seen those bad outcomes from flu. I've watched it with my own 2 eyes, and it's something you don't forget very easily. And so if we can prevent one of those in our community, it's worth it, right? So.
Well, thanks for coming in. I'm looking forward to you coming back again really soon. Thanks for the information from Litchfield Pediatric Clinic. That's Dr. Anthony Smith with some great information. You can reach out and touch the Litchfield Pediatric Clinic for more and to schedule your visit. We got to get to a break. We'll be back with more. Your chance to win coming up here on In the Know.
Consumers in Litchfield and surrounding areas are getting smart about the vehicle they're driving by getting customized auto financing, personalized dealer service, and multi-point inspected pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. What are you looking for in your next vehicle? A vehicle to haul the family around? A sporty car? A heavy-duty truck? Maybe you want to stay within a certain price range and want a financing plan with low monthly payments. At AutoSmart, new inventory is being delivered every week. You'll only find high-quality vehicles that have undergone multi-point inspections on our lot. The knowledgeable AutoSmart team knows all about the vehicles in inventory. They can answer all your questions. Now, all they need to know is what you're looking for. With financing partnerships with every financial institution in the area, they can provide you with a custom financing plan to fit your credit situation and your needs. Get to AutoSmart and get happy with a quality pre-owned vehicle and a customized financing plan. South Main Street in Litchfield or at autosmart1.com.
Bourbon and Beyond, the world's biggest music and bourbon festival, is even bigger. September 20th, 21st, and 22nd at Highland Festival Grounds at the Kentucky Expo in Louisville with Foo Fighters, Zach Brown Band, Robert Plant, and the Sensational Space Shifters. Gerald Hall and John Oates, John Fogerty, ZZ Top, Leon Bridges, and more. Complete lineup of musical artists and celebrity chefs at bourbonandbeyond.com.
Did you know the federal government provides more than $150 billion a year in grants, loans, and work study funds to make higher education possible for anyone? Completing the free application for federal student aid, known as the FAFSA, is the first step to getting your share, and it's totally free and takes most people less than an hour to apply.
Go to knowhowtogoky.org and join the conversation on Twitter with hashtag MyFAFSAStory. This message is brought to you by the Pritchard Committee Student Voice Team and the Council on Post-Secondary Education.
When I found out my son was addicted to opiates, I was terrified. I really didn't know where to turn. If there was going to be some hope for his recovery, he was going to have help. Thankfully, we found hope and help. And now our son is in recovery. If you have a friend or a family member with a substance use disorder, start at this website, hopeandhelpky.com. That's how we'll get through this together.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
I'm starting to learn what it's like to forecast in California. Non-stop sunshine for a while today. We have a few clouds later in the afternoon period. High temperature, 91 degrees. That won't be a record, but again, 91's 91. Tonight we drop down into the upper 60s. Tomorrow, again, back in lower 90s, a few clouds around in the afternoon. The Way 3 Storm Tracking Team. I'm meteorologist Brian Good.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. Never meant to make your daughter cry. I apologize a trillion times. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
Did you know the word broadcast originally referred to farmers scattering seed over a broad area? So when broadcasting was named, we were taking it from agriculture rather than, I've seen before, farmers will have what's called a broadcast spreader.
Yeah.
You know, you spread like a seed or fertilizer or whatever. So you're going to broadcast that by cranking it. That was first. And I always thought that, like, broadcasting, like, our business was first.
Basically,
Look at me coming full circle.
We're planting seeds all day long, right?
That's exactly right. That's what we're doing.
So I'm a farmer.
You're a farmer.
Good.
Here's sowing seeds everywhere you go.
Wisdom, I'm sure.
We have discovered an extra 4 tickets to Bourbon and Beyond for Sunday's performance. If you want to see the Zac Brown Band, you could be the winner of these 4 tickets and others as well. But that will be Sunday at Bourbon and Beyond. 4 tickets if you can solve today's water cooler question by calling 270-259-6000, 270-259-6000. You can't have won in the last 30 days. You must be 18 years of age or older. The question is this. 39% of people say seeing this specific thing in a date's car would be a turnoff. 39% of people say seeing this specific thing in a date's car would be a turnoff. 270-259-6000, 270-259-6000. Nearly 4 in 10 people say seeing this specific thing in a date's car would be a turnoff. What is it? 270-259-6000. Journalist Cokie Roberts dies from breast cancer at age 75. What a pioneer she was. When I was younger, I watched a lot more ABC and ABC News than I do now. I'm pretty exclusive to CBS these days. But I do remember being a young man and seeing Cokie Roberts on television as a journalist. And I never said, hey, there's Cokie Roberts. She's a woman. Right? I never saw, hey, there's a woman on the news. I just said, there's Cokie Roberts. That's how she was professional. She was good. She was articulate. She was, she great at what she did. And so she was she kind of paved the way for a lot of journalists who followed behind her. So hate to hear of her premature passing at age 75. Alex Trebek says he is back on chemo after his numbers went sky high. When you're diagnosed with stage 4 cancer like he had, you have to think, because it's pancreatic, right? Stage 4 pancreatic cancer, when you hear it, you think, yeah, like that's hard to come back from. So the fact that he was responding so well was surprising, but great to hear. But it sounds like maybe the situation is in flux just a little bit. Let's go to Mary. Good morning, Mary. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
We're doing very well, thank you. 39% of people say seeing this specific thing in a date's car would be a turnoff. What is it?
Well, I had one thought in mind first, and then I changed it. So I'm going to say weapon.
Weapon. Seeing a weapon in there?
I just wrote down gun.
You saw a gun in there? Mm-hmm. And by the way, for the record, Mary, women are allowed to change their mind. So the fact that you changed your mind is perfectly acceptable, okay?
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's not what we're looking for, so keep trying. Sorry. Let's go to Allison. Good morning, Allison. 39% of people say seeing this specific thing in a date's car would be a turnoff. What is it?
Like old food wrappers.
Yes, and that's exactly right.
That's what I put
That
too.
would be. When I see food containers in cars, I'm like, you couldn't get it to the garbage.
Right.
Come on. Right?
Yeah. Even when you fill up, the garbage can is right there.
That's right.
Yes, that's when I do my best clean out. Yeah.
Congratulations, Allison. Hold on. Have fun at Bourbon Beyond this weekend. Say hi to the Zac Brown Band for me, in case I don't get there. They end up in our yard. Like people throw, like they blow around. They're in the bed of your truck or whatever. I'm thinking, just throw the garbage away. Simple as that.
Or stop eating out if you can't be responsible with the containers.
Saved by the Bell, TV sequel in the works with Mario Lopez and Elizabeth Berkley.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The Big Bang Theory is coming to HBO streaming service, and they're getting an absurd amount of money for doing it. Who's the boss? Here's why Tony Danza doesn't want to reboot, even though Alyssa Milano is on board. He says because there's no Mona. They can't replace Mona, and he says if you can't replace her, then you don't need to reboot it. They're talking about Hogan's Heroes, a sequel series in the works.
Nah.
No, I'd prefer that you didn't do that. I like Hogan's Heroes just the way it is. I'm happy with the reruns, but here's one. Here's where I absolutely draw the line. A Princess Bride remake has reportedly been discussed, and there is no way. It is cinematic perfection, right? Kevin Arnold, you got Inconceivable Dude,
Yes.
you got Manny Patinkin, you got, I mean,
Leave it
on
alone.
and on and on. Peter Falk is in it. Princess Bride is perfect. Leave it alone.
Yep.
We all
Fantasy
agree?
Island. Fantasy
I agree.
Island's the only thing I'd like a reboot of.
I just want to go to Fantasy Island. I
too.
want to be one of the guest stars.
Yes.
When they say, and guest starring Mark Buckles.
Yes.
On Fantasy Island.
You can be the new tattoo.
I can do it. We got to get to a break. We're way behind. We got to get caught up. Got the Point to Ponder, Pearl of Wisdom, Chart Toppers straight ahead here on In the Know.
It's not unusual for children to distort the truth on occasion, but how do you know if your child's fibs are normal or part of a bigger problem? This is Jim Daly with Focus on the Family. Let's start with kids between the ages of 3 and 5. At this stage, children often have trouble distinguishing fantasy from reality. They can make up stories without understanding that they're lying. So in that case, you'll probably want to hold back a bit and not overreact. Your child will likely outgrow this stage of development. On the other hand, most older children are perfectly capable of knowing when their behavior is wrong. So the question becomes, what's their motive? One of the most common reasons is to get attention. Remember, kids will take negative attention over no attention at all. So if you suspect this is the case, a little one-on-one time can go a long way to bring reassurance to your child. But if this approach doesn't work, then there may be another reason for stretching the truth. Uncovering their motive will take a bit of detective work and perhaps the insight of a trained counselor. But with a little patience and dedication, you can help your child discover healthier ways to pursue what they're after. And over time, their lying will likely become a thing of the past. To speak with one of our counselors or to find one in your area, call us at 1-800, the letter A and the word family, or visit FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
For generations, alligators have weathered nature, biological threats, and predators. How do they do this? The answer is in their uncanny DNA. Alligators have one of the strongest immune systems in the animal kingdom. Their fat cells contain the essential oils needed to fight off deadly infection and rejuvenate skin. How can you benefit from the alligator's amazing rejuvenating powers? Cayman oil. Cayman oil is the revitalizing and healing power of the alligator in a bottle. Cayman oil is carefully purified and refined with an added hint of vitamin E and lavender to better harness the alligator's ability to heal worn and damaged skin. Treat dry skin, infections, cuts, burns, scarring, eczema, rashes, muscle and joint pain, and more. Even athlete's foot. It's clinically proven to kill the flesh-eating bacteria MRSA. This really works. We guarantee it or your money back. Go to mycayman.com. mycaimon.com. That's mycayman.com.
Staying connected is important in today's world. Whether it's hearing the news of a new baby in the family or calling work to let your boss know you're running late, phone and internet service keep you connected with your world. At AT&T, we know that some Americans face life every day without the comfort and security of having a phone or internet service. In certain areas, you may be able to reduce your phone or internet bill with a Lifeline discount if you are in a qualifying lower-income household. Additional discounts of up to $25 may be available to those living on federally recognized tribal lands where AT&T offers Lifeline. To find out more about Lifeline and other AT&T products and services, call us at 800-288-2020 or go to att.com/lifeline if you have access to the internet.
Lifeline is a government benefit program, and willfully making false statements to obtain this benefit is punishable by fine or imprisonment and could result in termination of Lifeline service. Lifeline enrollment requires certain eligibility documentation and is non-transferable. Limited to one discount per household. AT&T services, including Lifeline, are not available in all areas. Other restrictions apply.
Well, we're chasing time. Gotta find peace of mind and understand that maybe we never can.
MB's Point to Ponder for today. Would you rather travel the world for a year, all expenses paid, or have $40,000 to spend on whatever you want?
Say it one more time.
Travel the world for a year, all expenses paid, or have just a pile of $40,000 to spend on whatever you want?
Travel the world for a year.
Yeah.
No, 40,000.
Are you serious?
Yes.
you would probably never again have traveling the world for a year, all expenses paid, could be $400,000.
I was going to say, could be $1 million.
Absolutely, but we have babies.
They can go too.
Yeah. You got to think of it like this is just me in an alternate universe.
Here's where I did
No
pause. I did want to know:
responsibilities.
do you have to stay gone the entire year,
Do you get to stay gone the entire year?
But do you have to? Because not being able to come home might be a little unsettling. That's me. We could be gone for a couple of weeks, come home, it's like, oh, I really want to get home. But then I walk in the building here, walk in the house, and go, okay, I'm ready to go again.
Okay.
They're just,
My load of laundry's done. Let's go.
Yeah, it's still here. Let's go. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of my thing. So I have questions, but I'm still with the travel the world for a year, all expenses paid.
I don't. Where do I sign up? Let's go.
Today's highlight in history, this date in 1793, President George Washington laid the cornerstone on the U.S. Capitol. In 1964, The Addams Family premiered on ABC TV. Jimi Hendrix died in London at age 27, this date in 1970. The final episode of The Guiding Light aired on CBS this date 10 years ago. My Aunt Holly was so mad.
What network was that?
The Guiding Light was on CBS.
Okay.
72 years. And she was an avid soap opera watcher. And she did not like it at all when The Guiding Light left television. Birthdays today. Robert Blake is 86. Fred Willard is 86. Frankie Avalon is 79. Ben Carson is 68. Ryan Sandberg is 60. Holly Robinson Peete is 55. Ricky Bell is 52. Aisha Tyler is 49. Lance Armstrong is 48. Jada Pinkett Smith is 48 today. Jason Sudeikis is 44. Jason Sudeikis is in some good movies.
I like him.
He's really good. I mean, Horrible Bosses, right? That's one that you don't even immediately think of him being in, that because he's part of an ensemble, but it's really good. And Greta Garbo was born this date in 1905. I forgot to tell you what was on TV tonight. It's nothing really good, so you're not going to miss much. Oh, watch the KET Country, the Ken Burns documentary on KET. That's what you should watch tonight. Although you should probably go back and watch the first two nights before you watch, right?
Sure.
Don't just dive in tonight. I deliberated on whether to get in on night 2.
Right.
I was like, but I've not seen night 1. I caught up pretty quickly.
Okay.
I've seen the movie. I know how it went. 1961, Elvis, number 1.
He was telling everyone in town.
I don't even know this song.
And Marie's the name.
Marie's the name of his latest flame.
No, I've never heard this in my life.
Okay, well, you don't have to listen to it anymore.
Okay, well, good. Wasn't a fan.
Until a year from today.
Schedule me off.
1970 was the year. Mungo Jerry was the artist.
I love this song.
I want the beard.
The chops.
He looks like a Mungo Jerry.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think of when you hear this?
Mungo Jerry and his funny beard.
Really?
Yeah.
He looks like Prince a little bit.
No, it's Wedding Crashers when they were riding the bicycles. That's the song that was playing.
Oh, is it really when they're at the
Yeah.
beach? Yeah. Claire Cleary.
Yeah.
And John Beckworth, right? Yeah. Beckwith? Yeah. Can't remember.
I don't know.
No, I promise it's true.
Love that movie. Earth, Wind, and Fire, number 1 this date, 1979. After the Love Is Gone.
We knew our love was true for a while.
Comes the divorce?
We paid no mind.
Something like that.
I don't know.
Let's go to 1988. GNR. Listen, this entire album, solid.
They're coming to
Solid work.
to Louisville
Right,
Live
next
and Loud
weekend,
next
right?
weekend.
Louder Than
Yep,
Life.
yep.
May know somebody that's going to be giving away tickets tomorrow. Just saying. So, Louder Than Life.
Yeah, I would love to see them.
Yeah, I mean, Louder Than Life. Danny Wimmer, very proud GNR is coming since Welcome to the Jungle is their entire music bed for their commercial. Let's go to 2000.
Sound like it. Usually you
I
do
didn't.
better than that.
It was a half-hearted attempt at
Yeah,
doing it correctly.
try again.
Mariah Carey and Honey, 1997. All right, if you've heard that much, you've heard it all.
Yeah, that's all you need.
And what to find? 2006, The Wreckers were number 1 with Leave the Pieces. And 4 years ago today, this is the live version of that song. Not very good, by the way. Omi and Cheerleader was number 1 4 years ago today. All right, you ready for, here's MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. You all liked the one yesterday about your friends thinking you hadn't permanently made a fool of yourself. This fell in my lap today. It's kind of similar. It's from the book You Can't Go Home Again. Are you ready? MB's Pearl of Wisdom. Make your mistakes, take your chances, look silly, but keep on going. Make your mistakes, take your chances, look silly, but keep on going. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Misty Thomas, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powered by Heritage Media of Kentucky, WKHG Litchfield, Kentucky, USA. 104.9 FM, the Twin Lakes Best Mix, K105, your new